Yasin Betty Mali, Saso Figa Gada, Baby Unga Hambi.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and others of the communities we all love and hold dear to our hearts. Welcome to another episode of Nothing But Football, a show where we talk about football and other little spicy things that we find interesting. I think we're not going to waste any time. Well, besides mentioning the two people in this video, that's the waste of time. On my right here, I've got brother Hakeem, aka Lucas. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good. That one just doesn't work. The streets aren't for that one.
It flows quite nicely. I think it flows quite nicely. And then to my far right, I have got Uncle Curtis, aka Chris.
Those are good people. Yeah. Stay hydrated, goats. For good skin, stay hydrated. And this week's beauty tip.
Always with the good words. So, unfortunately, in football, there comes that time where the meaningless happens, i.e. international football. We're currently on a break, so we figured, we'll just come and just, talk about something random. But I actually have a question for you guys. What do you think of this international break? Do you think it was necessary?
Not during COVID times. I didn't want to see England beat Albania 2-0 or whoever. It's like even the stars are not there playing for the national team. So I didn't want to see it, but I don't like international break overall. Yeah, it is what it is.
What do you think, Mr. Hakeem, brother Hakeem?
Yeah, look, I'm not a fan of international football outside of tournaments, but these matches and whatever is how you get to the tournaments, right? So it's probably because some World Cup qualifiers and then started.
So a lot of the European sides had Europa Nations League and World Cup qualifiers. So they had a double dose of fixtures. So I think England still hasn't qualified yet for the Euros, if I'm not correct. If I'm not mistaken.
And I think they must probably have. Those guys always go W through our qualification stage from beginning to end.
Well, forgive me, guys.
It matters.
I don't care about that tournament. I watch it when I'm bored.
The Euros?
Yeah, the Euro qualifier. Euro Nations League.
Oh, the qualifier, yeah.
Remember
the tournament would be fun, but the qualifiers, meh.
So you remember there's this new format of qualifying. There's some teams that still haven't qualified. But actually, that might have been wrapped up the past couple of days.
Oh, I think it's the playoffs that haven't been done.
Yeah, but either way, who cares?
That's how insignificant it is. Nobody knows what's going on in those things.
Yeah. But yeah,
and then Bafana qualify, and then we'll chat about the international side.
Obviously, during this international break, Bafana suffered a terrible fate. Well, not terrible. Similar fate that they've been suffering for 7 years. Apparently, we haven't qualified for Africa Cup of Nations for seven, not 7 years, 7 tournaments.
Yeah, that sounds more right. Yeah.
7 tournaments. So yeah, I've been hearing.
I'm sure since we hosted, have we been to any tournament since 2010?
Yeah, well, no, sure.
I don't know.
Hard reality, but yeah, we haven't qualified for Africa Cup of. Well, it wasn't Africa Cup.
So there's a meme I saw, right? Yeah. There's a meme I saw. It says, Bafana Bafana have showed the whole nation what it feels like to support Kaizer Chiefs. Oh, tough crowd, wrong room. Know your audience, kids.
I feel like Bafana's been doing worse than Chiefs for years, though. This guy's just throwing low shots out of nowhere.
Well, either way, that's just a highlight of, well, not a highlight. I'll say a summarization of what's happened in the world of football, international wise. But from a club's perspective, I feel like some significant news has come out with the retirement. Well, not the retirement, the end of the road for Sergio Aguero. Yeah, so it looks like Sergio Aguero's contract will not be renewed. City have opted to go fishing for another striker. And yeah, I think I've got a question for you guys. We spoke at length about how Ozil still had time and Ozil was disrespected by Arsenal. How do you feel about this?
About the Aguero one?
Yes, from a point of view of this is a club legend, regardless of how limited that kiddie's book is that they call City. This is a club legend to City and also Premier League legend.
Yeah.
In terms of top strikers. How do you feel, Brother Hakeem, that Sergio was treated on his last year? Not even last year, last season's.
Yeah. Look, so I don't think he's been done dirty in terms of the way I see it. Look, he hasn't got many games this year, but there's a lot of injuries, and he had COVID, and that I'm sure when he was fit they didn't play him too. But I mean, at 33, like, the coach is allowed to update the team.
Yeah.
So I don't think they've done him dirty. I think it's what goes along with football, but I think that will be his 10th season at the club. You know what I mean? He's going to be 33, 34 next year, something like that. So it's okay. I mean, you know, like Ferguson always used to say, he'll never let a team grow old together.
Yeah.
So if you see City, I mean, last season it was David Silva. The season before it was Vincent Kompany or whatever. It's just those guys that have been there a bit too long. They're aging together. It needs to be freshened up.
Okay, interesting. Uncle Chris.
I think it's just ruthless Pep, Doc. He's like, you're not working hard enough for me. Forever injury prone. Let's get you out of here. And you could say the same for Vincent Kompany, but you can't say that for David Silva. I think David Silva was just age, but these are the guys who are injured half the season. Pep is like, I don't want you.
David Silva was given a swan song, like a great exit.
Yes, he was.
On his last season.
Yes, he was.
We've noticed Pep tends to have these players who he dislikes. And from my point of view, I'm now going to offer my opinion. I feel like this is the same.
Yeah, you've been calling this one this season, actually.
I feel like this is the same way that Yaya Toure got treated. It's the same way that we've seen certain players get phased out by Pep, even though they are brilliant players. I mean, we could go as far as looking back at some of the strikers who've been let go by City unfairly. Dzeko. I feel Dzeko had a great time at City, but he was let go. But some players aren't afforded the same level of critique. So I think Pep has his favorites, and Aguero just happened not to be his favorite. From the moment he walked into the team, he'd already said, "This is not my guy."
So I hear you, right? But then this is what? This is year 5 of Pep. So this is 5 years of Pep and Sergio working together.
I mean, first year that Pep got there, he signed Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
He just never took on.
Fair play to Gabriel Jesus. His stats have been okay, but there've been times where Aguero's stats have been amazing in this playing with another striker. But it seems as though this is the road we walk. But I guess I'm just offering my thoughts. Since when Uzo left, you had a lot to say.
Yeah,
Brother Hakeem.
Yeah, because Uzo was kicked out. This feels mutual to me.
No, he's
they were
kicked
not
out.
Extending your contract.
Yeah, but I'm talking.
Uzo was kicked out like he had the cooties.
Yeah, but it was the same thing with Uzo. We're not extending your contract. It's just that maybe
Uzo, it was you're not even in the first team. Go train with the kids. Uzo was disrespected on his way out.
Do you understand that in this season, I think Aguero might have only started one game.
Sure, but there's a lot of injuries and COVID and whatever. Sharp. He got older, but they didn't go send him to play with the kids.
Should we look at last season's stats as well?
We can, but I'm saying in the comparison to Ozil,
I'm saying it's ruthless Pep. I'm not saying it's the club. I'm saying ruthless Pep.
I agree with you. It's ruthless, but I'm saying Ozil.
Yeah, but
Ozil,
again,
they spat on him, Joe.
Yeah, but again, remember when we were discussing that, I put that down to the manager and the club at some point saying that, hey, we're not creative, but you're taking out the creative player. Pep just knows how to play the game better now because of age. Just say, I might not play him, but he's still going to be in the squad. Otherwise, there'll be disharmony. So Pep is just smarter in that sense than a naive
I'd like to point out last season's stats. If we're still thinking that Aguero's lost it, Aguero had 24 appearances compared to Jesus' 34 last season. Aguero scored 16 and Jesus scored 14 in that time. Assists, yes. Jesus has 7, Aguero has 3.
So that's 24 appearances. That's 24 appearances last season.
Yeah.
For Aguero, 24 compared to 34.
So does that not show his age? That's comparing to Dzeko, to Jesus, right? But they'll probably sign another number 9 in the summer. I don't think it's getting rid of this guy so that Jesus right. But even if it does, it was 24 appearances last season. He's getting older, so it would have been progressively less and less.
I'm just saying.
Cut your losses.
Yeah, it just so happens that City had a great season this year, but there was a time where Gabriel Jesus was out, and they opted to play with no striker, i.e. false 9.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, Mahrez did struggle. He struggled in that formation. It wasn't working out for City, but obviously things caught a light, and City did City things.
Yeah.
But in the beginning they struggled, and Pep was still not willing to take the Aguero chance. But I guess this is just me being, controversial.
So are you saying they should have gave him another contract?
Not gave him another contract, but if you kind of had a feeling that this was his last season, don't you think it's still a good time to use him? So it's not, for me, the disrespect doesn't come from it doesn't come from
Not renewing the contract.
not renewing the contract. It comes from not playing him.
Oh yeah.
Because you actively choose to. He's been on the bench for a while.
There was a thing, one of the games he played, I don't know if he was on the bench or if he started, but the cameras or the microphones or whatever picked it up as he was walking off the pitch. He's sort of telling the person next to him, like, they don't pass to me.
No, that's the thing. Like, I just feel as though he's been let go too early. But I guess we'll see what happens.
We'll see where he signs and if he bangs at another Premier League club.
To tell you the truth, I have a feeling he's going to sign for another Premier League club.
I'd love him at United.
I was gonna say far-fetched would think that United would be an ideal situation. I mean, how old is Cavani?
34. Cavani's older than him.
Yes, you guys have classically you've liked the older striker to pair up with your youngins.
Yeah.
So to kind of guide them. But I feel I don't know where in the Premier League he'd go. But I think he's still got Premier League energy in him.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
That's a 1 in 2 striker. If you get the amount of games you get him, he'll score in half of them.
In my eyes, he's only second to Henry in Premier League history. Only second to Henry in terms of strikers.
As strikers.
What about Drogba?
Excuse me. Drogba sucks, guys. Drogba is not even Chelsea's greatest striker. It's abysmal.
You see how I baited you into that one.
Say it with your chest.
So yes, Uncle Curtis has an interesting theory that has sprung up in the recent weeks. Not recent weeks, actually. Recent days. And I'd like you to tell us about this theory of yours.
Guys are very disrespectful, these Chelsea fans who started football in 2004 whenever Roman Abramovich came through. And they were comparing Drogba to Henry, saying Drogba's the better player. Little to my amused that I found out over the weekend that Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank has the same amount of games roundabout and has scored way more goals. Like 23 goals. It will have taken Drogba another 2 seasons to reach that target because he averaged 12 goals a season overall. Nah. Is Chelsea's greatest striker. Would we put Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and Thierry Henry in the same bracket? Nobody would dare. But they do this with that Ivorian Coast Drogba who can't trap a ball early in his career to only score 1 20-goal season. I can't believe it. Can't believe it.
All right.
I don't know we see where you guys rate Drogba, but not in my books.
Oh, you don't rate him at all?
No. He has his purpose. He's Giroud.
He is Giroud. Now you're slapping Drogba in the face.
He's Giroud is good with the link-up play.
Sure.
Giroud is silky with the touches. It's sharp. I bet you they're averaging the same amount of goals. I wouldn't be surprised if Giroud is going to hit Drogba's tally very soon with less games.
Sure.
I'm going to do that player comparison one day.
Just to give...
if you watch the game via stats.
Just to give Chelsea supporters some perspective, this is the striker that you guys used to have before the money came. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He's currently an analyst on Sky Sports. If you see him, don't get scared. He's your guy's legend. So get to know him. But I'd actually like to give the stats that Chris was talking about. Just to give perspective to his argument. I'm merely entertaining this, so please don't attack me. Jimmy Floyd played 288 games for Chelsea compared to Didier Drogba's 254. So not very far off. And goals also as well reflect that. Jimmy Floyd had 127 to Drogba's 104. Interesting stat there. Jimmy Floyd also trumps over Drogba with assists, with 58 compared to Drogba's 54. And yeah, those are the stats that matter. That's actually very interesting. It's an interesting point. I think I have to agree with you, considering no. In terms of Chelsea greats, it's just because Jimmy Floyd was not in the
glamour days.
In the glamour days.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was the one.
Drogba was the glamour days. The glamour days came because Drogba was firing.
Yes, but not because Drogba was firing.
100%.
No, he was averaging 12 goals a season because Lampard was firing.
He was firing.
Yeah, but that argument is inconsequential to who's the better player. Who's your club legend?
What?
Who's your club legend? Who's the better player? Who's done more for you?
Who's the better player between Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and Drogba?
Yes, Floyd.
Drogba.
Floyd.
Drogba all
Jimmy
day.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank proved he's better.
How did he prove he's better?
He's got more assists. He's got more goals. What did Drogba do?
I'm saying no.
Drogba won them titles.
On stats.
Drogba won them titles. When you remember back to the era, you'll remember and call it Drogba's era.
Check
Chelsea.
No. Check won them titles. Terry won them titles. Ashley Cole at some point won them titles. Lampard won them titles.
Drogba didn't.
Aaron Robben won them
didn't.
titles.
Drogba
I'm
didn't.
naming the players who were there. Robben, Duff. Like, do you see the quality players he had around him?
Yeah.
It wasn't Drogba. It wasn't the Drogba show.
Guys, when there's quality players around you and you're playing, that says something about your quality too.
No,
because there's somebody quality enough to replace you. He benched Crespo.
Yeah, but Crespo never didn't play the way they wanted him to play. It's Mourinho's system that's being outdated now. That's what I'm saying. Because you're going to argue it's quality players around. My God.
Are we also going to cry that he benched Shevchenko?
Why not? It's Drogba that put... Would Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank have benched Shevchenko? Would Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank...
The way Shevchenko played at Chelsea, he would have benched him. Can we please not act like...
No, he didn't.
That was a Premier League flop.
He didn't do well then, huh?
Yeah.
But guys, like Jimmy Floyd was cool, but Ida Johnson was the man that time.
He wasn't.
Ida Johnson.
They played well
Jimmy
together.
Floyd Hasselbank. They played well. He scored the goals.
Yeah, he scored the goals because of all the things.
But it's for Chelsea. It's Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
But no, he's not better than Drogba.
He is. We judge strikers on goals.
I might be pushing.
Okay, fine. What metric do you judge strikers on?
Hey?
What metric do you judge strikers on?
I watch the game.
The eye test.
The influence on the game.
So the striker that doesn't score goals.
You tell me all the time about Darren Bent scored goals. Mang scored goals. You write the things off.
No. I write them off because I'm saying that's his level, Drogba. Hey? It's Darren Bent.
So what's Hasselbank's level then?
Hasselbank is just one above Drogba. As we can see.
That's what I'm saying.
We can see even with more goals as a striker.
But actually, if we look at it, this is his Premier League tally. So I'll give you that we're being a little bit harsh because he might have gone to like Charlton and done well.
Who? Hasselbank. Yeah, he went to Middlesbrough.
Oh, okay. So his Premier League title might be harsh. But at the same time, the same amount of games, which just shows me that Hasselbank could do it at any level, unlike Drogba, who needed 10 supporting players.
I'm just being harsh. I just found it interesting to.
Giroud would be a bigger Chelsea legend than Drogba.
Would be.
Yeah.
He does play for Chelsea. He's not.
Not yet. He hasn't. He left a legacy. I'm
Not
saying
yet. At what age? How long does he have
he's
left?
still playing. He's not playing. Is Drogba playing?
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Drogba has made his legacy. This guy's playing. If Giroud gives you 2 seasons of 30 goals, he still doesn't outdo Drogba.
He does because
As
he's
the
got
legend of the club.
Yeah.
Then you didn't watch what Drogba did. Then.
I didn't watch what Drogba did because he did nothing.
The truth, Drogba used to come through for them when they needed him to.
When he always played.
When they needed him to, i.e. finals and stuff like that.
Sure.
So
and the rest of the time he was average.
No. I'll give you that. That's what makes Chelsea fans make outrageous statements like he's better than Henry. I'm trying to discredit.
He's definitely not better than
Yes,
Henry.
I'm trying to discredit not Pogba, Drogba, that he can't even manage his own household. He's not even, there.
I'm sure Drogba's like, when Graham Souness said, "Where's your medals?" or something to Pogba, and Pogba would have dashed.
Yeah.
That's that Drogba point. Like, who? Jimmy Floyd Mang?
Can John O'Shea do that? Can John O'Shea do that to Vidic?
Do what to Vidic?
Where's your medals when we're talking football and just show his medals? Can John O'Shea do that? Because I can guarantee John O'Shea has more Premier League medals than Vidic.
Sure, but you see, this is what he always does. You'll pick the rotation guy. Pick a starter. Vidic was a starter. Pick a starter. Drogba was a starter.
My argument, you changed argument when you say we're talking about medals. I'm saying when we talk medals, then John O'Shea can come and say, don't talk to me about winning trophies. I got more.
No. So you're then going offside because Drogba will say, here's my medals. I'm influential in all of them. You want to say compared to a player that maybe wasn't the most influential?
I'm not going to say you're saying influential off the eye test. Nah? I'm saying as a striker, he didn't do his job. Who won them the trophies? It wasn't Drogba because it was Lampard scoring.
That guy's got all the goals in finals.
Because we talk
all the goals in finals.
Yes, in finals.
Many goals.
But we're talking about Premier League great. We're not talking about his FA Cups. We're talking about Premier League games, yeah? And he didn't do it as well as other players around him.
He's got trophies to his name.
Yes, because of the other players around him.
Did he not even win a Player of the Year?
No.
I don't think he has. No.
He doesn't. He hasn't. No, but again, it's one of those things of other players around him that he has those medals. I'm saying Drogba was, not rotation, but he was just there to fulfill a role like Giroud fulfilled a role for France in the World Cup. He wasn't the star. He was just there.
So maybe that's a little bit too far-fetched.
Guys, would you say Giroud was very influential in winning that World Cup?
Yes.
Or he just fulfilled a role?
No,
he fulfilled a role.
No. He was
the star of the World Cup was Kante and Pogba. It wasn't Giroud.
Those were the stars, but you can't hold the ball up front without Giroud getting it on his chest, holding it for.
That's why I say he was part of it.
But that's he was influential to me. Mbappe doesn't shine unless this guy gets him the ball. How's that not influential?
Now we're going to be talking about Dwight Yorks letting Michael Owen shine.
Emil Heskey.
Yeah, Emil Heskey making Michael Owen shine because he wasn't the. You see?
Yeah, but you can't say he's not influential.
Yeah, but now we're going to talk about Dwight, Emil Heskey in as high as a light as players who are banging in goals compared to that. Oh no, that's the striker who lets my midfielder score goals. When your definition of a job is score goals.
Why did that have to be Drogba's job when you say there's 10 players around him? So you should have not let the other 10 players shine.
We're talking about traditional strikers here. In the job role, it's striker. What does it say? You are here to score goals. Defensive midfielders, you are here to...
Tell me about Alan Shearer.
Alan Shearer. Wait, you're laughing. I'm about to go on this Alan Shearer rant.
Sure.
Alan Shearer is not the greatest ever. He's not.
So this guy's not the greatest because he doesn't have that metric. This guy who does have that metric is not.
But again, I just credit Drogba based on the same basis of what you call this. Alan Shearer was
I'm saying on that same basis, number of goals. No one has more than Shearer.
No, but I'm saying it's number of goals compared to number of games started. I'm saying they played similar games, and what's this? He one's got more goals when you look at the similar games. All right. Now I'm saying again with Alan Shearer, that guy played boost long in the Premier League. Just because he had no competition for 10 seasons and he was top goal scorer with 15 doesn't mean he was great. It just means he was the best of the batch, which is why when other players from other countries started coming into the country, he started falling down the pecking order very quickly.
Which pecking order? He's still number one.
In terms of top strikers in that moment in the season.
Oh. Okay.
Because he's still number one because of longevity of games. Come on.
Okay, okay, then there's Sharp. They come into the league, so obviously they have less time in the Premier League than him. Yeah? But these other players played in other leagues too. Overall, do they have more goals than him?
Most
League
probably.
goals or whatever?
Most probably.
Most probably. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm talking about Premier League. I didn't go check that Mang started in Iceland, got 30 goals, then went to here. Like, nah.
Chat Thierry Henry, because you started Drogba versus Thierry Henry.
I'm pretty sure.
Thierry Henry doesn't have a lot of goals in Monaco. He was Juventus's bench. Then he's at Barcelona where somebody else is banging the goals.
No, but he was chipping in. He wasn't doing Drogba numbers. Somebody else was scoring the goals, but at Barcelona, he was still averaging 26 a season. At Monaco Sharp, he was a youngster. What was Drogba doing as a youngster? Scoring 2 goals. He was scoring maybe 6 a season.
I don't know.
That's what we're looking at. Because we're going to forget about Drogba at Marseille. We're going to forget about Drogba afterwards. I don't know what Drogba didn't do outside of Chelsea.
Yeah.
When it was outer defensive footballer. He's the worst highly rated Premier League great.
Sure.
Relative to his position and who he's compared against, he's the worst rated.
Sure, I disagree, but yeah.
Because it's like, come on, man, it's Drogba. Like, what did he do in the Premier League? Scored 12 goals a season. 12.
Mr. Mosh?
No, I'm looking at some of his appearances. They were decent. I mean, at Chelsea, it was 226 with 100 goals. At Marseille, he scored 19 goals in 35 appearances. I'm going to count these other ones. Guingamp. What's that?
I don't know. Probably China.
No, that's where he started. So, no, he started at Le Mans. 64 appearances, 12 goals.
Yeah.
Then Guingamp.
You see, so he was scoring 2 goals this season.
Yeah.
At 18.
So Guingamp was 45.
See his name here.
Guingamp.
Yeah,
it's Guingamp, you see. Guingamp. And I'm saying it with an accent. But yeah, 45 appearances, 20 goals. Decent,
So you're saying he's not a great goal scorer, right? Or are you also poo-pooing him as a player? Yeah.
Not as a player. He played a useful role.
He's not a great goal scorer.
He's not a goal scorer. And for that reason, when we're talking about great strikers, don't be giving me defense.
So the only measure for great strikers is goals?
Yes, that's what they're on the pitch to do.
Is it?
Yes.
Only?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
If you walk out of a game and you say my striker defended amazingly, I'm going to laugh at you and walk
What
away.
if you won 1-0 and somebody else scored?
I do not care.
I want to win games.
This is why you enjoy Burnley football.
Eh?
This is why you enjoy Burnley football.
No one enjoys Burnley football. I
Because you want to
enjoy
win
it
games.
when they score against you guys.
No. But we beat them. But you get what I'm saying? It's that metric. You want to win games, but play boring football and your manager won't last for long. You'll get bored of it. This is why West Ham fans are West Ham fans. They can't sustain a period of boring football to win 1-0. The manager gets to fifth and they're like, we must fire him. Oh man, I saw some guy call for David Moyes' head like 2 weeks ago. And I started laughing. I'm like,
The club has already done him dirty enough times.
They've been some outrageous statements. I even heard at one of these what's this called? Actually, football fans in general these days are very spoiled.
And they're
I
mad.
feel we're included as well.
Joe, in the back of my head, I want to say, like, how's this different to the fans of your club? But I don't want to die.
No, we are all. You are the same.
100%.
You are the same as
100%.
Ole Out has been trending so many times this season.
I've never jumped on that one, but I get what you're saying.
He has
Yeah.
trended so many times this season, and he's second place, dude. Ole Out. Come on, bro. Everyone's called for their managers' heads. Even Liverpool guys have called for their managers' heads. And you ask
100%.
yourself, like,
100%.
how dare you? The guys bringing you a first trophy. Grown men with children.
Waited 30 years.
They waited 30 years. No, come on.
They started working and they're in retirement age now.
Yes. I'm seeing there's people saying, no, they're calling for Klopp to resign. and say, just do the honorable thing and let Gerrard come in. Come on, bro. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But yeah, I just think football fans in general are just spoiled. West Ham included, United included, Arsenal included.
Basically, if your team hasn't won a trophy.
Yes.
It's also our standards not fickle, guys. Like, you can have a good second also.
No, I believe that our standards are all fickle.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those where I'll talk from an Arsenal point of view.
Yeah.
The reason why we've just decided let us start praising Arteta is because it's acceptance. You guys reached an acceptance at some point where your managers weren't doing well.
Yeah.
And then it was just the thing of, okay, you know what? Fergie's gone. We need to start accepting that, things are not always going to go well for us.
True.
With us, we had the benefit of, seeing the downfall of Wenger. So
That was sad. I won't lie. As Arsenal irritates me, yes. But that was sad. That
from a point of view of acceptance, we had the benefit of seeing Wenger hit a downfall, and I use benefit in air quotes because it taught us that, hey, listen, we don't deserve everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Arsenal fans were entitled for a bit.
Yes, we were very entitled.
Word.
Yes.
Past tense.
No, they are.
Oh.
Just not me.
We're not as bad as we
I
used
just
to.
want beautiful football. I've always stated this. If I'm entertained, I'm good. So I've never said, hey, we deserve to win this trophy. I've said we've been cheated out of trophies.
Yeah.
It's a different story, though.
Fair enough.
But you guys at some point, you believed that this Premier League was yours.
Oh, my boy. Because most of our fans, in terms of our generation, they woke up to winning football type of thing. Like, you started just watching your team win almost. Like, I remember there was one of the seasons we won the title and I still changed the channel. I didn't even watch the procession.
Yes.
You think I'd ever do that again?
After that, Aguero. It was late for you guys. You had to. You saw the rowdy neighbors were here.
Yeah.
But at least, fortunately for you guys, rowdy neighbors will remain rowdy neighbors until they win Champions League. So, I guess we'll see what happens from there. But yeah.
Guys, you know what Shearer is to me? Football started in England, right? And so that's like the mother of football, man.
Yeah, all the organized games.
So I think Shearer is like the mom who's bought her son the ball and he has to play every game, and that's why he scored all the goals in England. Shearer is just the mother of England, and they forced that man down on us just to play every game to say that they have a great striker. And then he ended up with 200 and something goals in twice the amount of time of other strikers.
No, I'm gonna shoot my boy some bail. He ended up with 260 goals from Newcastle and Southampton.
So?
They've never been... maybe they were once or twice. And Blackburn.
Blackburn, yeah.
And Blackburn. But
but that's why I'm saying I can't count you as the great thing just because you have more goals. You were just there for longer. Your mother was the owner of the team.
But what's his ratio? I'm sure it's still 1 and 2.
It's the worst of the top strikers.
But I'm sure it's still 1 and 2.
It's the worst of the top strikers.
It's going to be because he's playing for mid-table teams. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Then Matt Letizia is a great striker.
Hey?
Then Matt
Letizia was a number 10. And he scored some of the most beautiful goals in the league. But that man was lazy.
Gone are the days of the lazy player, though.
So
we have to give it. We have to understand that. I mean, what? Aguero is a lazy player.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's also another reason Pep got rid of him, because apparently he used to party a lot.
One day we need to hit a laziest player top 5. Yes.
Berbatov, obviously.
Oh, Berber. Young Berber. Is Ozil on that list? I think we kind of have to put Ozil on that list.
I don't think he's lazy.
What's he's been in cry? What have people's cry his whole career?
Not
Berbatov lazy though. Not Berbatov lazy.
Not Berbatov lazy.
Not Berbatov lazy.
We won't give him top position, but he's there. I don't know who else can you give that to.
Sure.
But either way, as I said, what we're going to do with Nevin James Milner in the team besides watch a team that can't score goals? Yeah. Hard work doesn't get you anywhere, kids. You only need one hard worker in the team.
But this is the new world we live in.
Yeah, we're going to get boring football and they'll change rules
Is
to make
it not boring now?
Of course, because James Milner is still playing in teams.
But don't you guys think the overall standard of player is higher now?
Yes, but they are terribly average.
But I'm saying it's higher now.
Yes.
So these guys that we praise from the yesteryear, they were playing against players of the average of the opponent was lower than now.
No, I think now the difference between now and yesteryear is that it's more about the coach's strategy. Look at it now. Coaches are praised. If Pep is the one who's praised. Oh, Gundogan's found his feet. They don't care. Pep did that. Emile Smith Rowe came out of the systems. They don't care. Arteta did that. Saka, Arteta did that. I can't think of anyone from your generation.
That's Wenger's work on the Arsenal Academy since when he got there. These generation of players, but it won't be credit to them just because another manager used them more effectively, which is fair. But we forget where things start.
No, but I'm saying the overall quality of the league. So Thierry Henry used to play against Bolton. Bolton is comparable to
to tell you the
Burnley.
truth.
Burnley standard is a bit higher.
No, I wouldn't take that.
It's a tougher league.
No, it is.
You know, I'll discount that. Who's Burnley's best defender?
Tarkowski and Ben Mee.
Is he better than Ivan Campo?
Ivan Campo that Bolton had, yes. Because Ivan Campo that Bolton had was 35. He was not Real Madrid Campos.
No, but he was still a better player.
No,
we're talking about standards.
35-year-old Campo. He was not a better player than 26-year-old James Tarkowski.
To me, yes.
No, because you're remembering his history. You remember Campo Real Madrid.
Guys,
I'm saying the Campo Bolton had.
Even when you make this argument, it makes Drogba look worse to me in essence, because you're telling me he played against lower quality opposition and still couldn't manage Giroud numbers.
No, but if you look at it from this way, the Premier League has more money now.
Yeah.
So Burnley, let's just say a team comes up from promotion. They call that the playoffs, the highest prize money in the world.
Yeah.
So you get teams getting like 100 million.
Yeah.
Do you think that happens? That doesn't happen.
Okay, I hear you guys. The players are better trained. They're more fit. They're more this. I don't think it still makes them a better player.
I'm saying on average. So what you watched the Invincibles play against, or 2001 play against.
So I see.
Is it not when you watch your team now? It's a harder level of game that they play.
So I see what you're doing.
It's not.
You're trying to taint Invincibles in some way.
No, not at all. I'm just speaking in the era to say, okay, Sharp, we saw our team play against.
No, it's not.
Whatever.
It's not. You know, I even say that. Sharp.
It's not a higher standard.
It's not a higher standard. Not all the time, especially when it comes to lower opposition. Because the way I look at it now is you discount the quality of the player who played in that generation. If you get what I'm saying, especially the more attacking player. Because to me, these strikers that watch football now are saying I watch the movement of that striker to make my game better. Yes, they did improve it, but the quality player is still there. Because you can train players to be averagely good. But that special talent for a player, you discount that when you say the quality is higher. Because the quality of defending means it also went higher.
Sure. So hear me out. I'm not saying this to take away from the quality of whatever that the older generation of players had. I'm just saying here today, you play against a harder defender than they did.
I don't think
Those
so.
guys are still better. If they played against this defender being better today, Thierry Henry is still world class in this era. I'm not saying that.
Players. I just use the attacking players in that sense but it just discounts the players. Like, has there been a better defender since Cannavaro? Not many.
Not many.
And especially them, so we must look at the top end of the spectrum. We mustn't look at the lower end of the spectrum that keeps on getting beaten because these defenders were hard to play against for Henry. These players were hard to defend against, and I believe that Trent Alexander-Arnold will be seeing flames if he played against a team with strikers from back then, because they'll show him how to defend, and he can't defend.
So,
but I get what you're saying. So you essentially saying back then it was more of a talent game.
Yes.
As in like it was talent versus talent.
Yeah.
Right now, what it sounds like you're saying is that it's better structure.
It's machine versus machine now. Who has the better machine?
I say it's a better quality of the average player.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, fine. Maybe of the average player, nah? But my argument still is you must look at the top players at that time.
Yeah, but I am, because I'm saying what the top player plays against. So he plays against a guy that averaged a 5 versus now you're playing against somebody who averages a 6. Your opposition is harder now.
Because it's deceptively averagely good. Sharp, it's slightly
I'm saying
better average
better.
player.
Yeah.
No, it's just averagely good. It's just averagely good.
I'd argue
Tyrone Mings is still not a Villa player in that era.
I'd argue that now I'm going with the strategy thing. I feel as though the coaches are better in this era.
Definitely.
There's no Big Sam or Tony Pulis fighting his way in. Quality of player wise, I feel as though it's kind of similar. It's just that back in those days, the manager did not know how to use a certain player. You can't expect an idiot like Tony Pulis to manage. Look at him now. Where is he even coaching?
Because like I hear you, right? Because this debate could obviously go on and on. Because you say like if Trent was in that era, those players would show him how to defend. Those eras, that player would get pressed. The striker won't get as many passes as he used to get in that game because the players who used to give him the passes now have zero time on the ball. So it is what it is. Trent will also put in crosses behind the wingers that didn't track back in that era.
But I'm just saying
that's a conversation that can be practical in all directions.
I can take you, but yeah.
Trent Alexander-Arnold's better than a lot of right backs from that era.
Attacking wise, not defending wise. Attacking wise, not defending wise.
Okay, sure. Yeah, because defending has gone to the dogs.
But right now, interesting. I guess there's something that I want us to get into, but I think we'll get into that after we take a little break. I think for a change, let's actually look forward at the fixtures that we're gonna run into. Because I'm seeing some juicy fixtures that are coming up. It's going to be an interesting weekend. So I think let's just take a little mini break. And then we'll come back and just talk about that for a change. We've swapped formats. And then maybe we'll find something spicy to argue about. But yeah.
Uncle Curtis, beauty tips before the break?
I already did. You must stay hydrated. Drink lots of water.
Oh, sure. Okay, I missed it.
All right. So we'll see you in a bit.
Short.
Well, next clip, I guess.